Hey guys, my name is Cynthia and welcome to my channel, A Quiet Praise, where we'll talk about faith, life, and perspective. And I wanted to tackle a little bit of something. Well, actually, first of all, I wanted to say that for those of you who have been watching my channel, have been looking at my videos, I really appreciate all the prayers, all the comments that I've gotten about my health. The results of the biopsy did come out negative, thank God, praise the Lord. And I honestly just think it was all just God's plan. It was all His doing. There was something there, but through prayer and a lot of fasting and a lot of just dedication, I really feel that God did heal me, and this is definitely a miracle that I'm going to be sharing and my testimony with others on how God can really take care of us. He can heal us physically, mentally, and spiritually if we devote all of our time and efforts to Him. A lot of that also has to do with having a positive outcome, or a positive outlook. And so a lot of it, being a mental health counselor or a social worker, I know that our minds have a lot of power. And so if I'm pessimistic and I am so down on myself and I'm like, I have cancer, I'm gonna die, all these things, then that really does have an effect on my body, and it causes more stress, which could cause whatever is going on in there to progress a lot quicker. So I did have a lot of positive feedback from my family, from my friends, really just supporting me. And I did end up doing the breast cancer walk this past Saturday, which was amazing. And if you haven't, you can check out some of my photos on Instagram at A Quiet Praise. But just all this to say that I really appreciate you guys and that everything came out good, in case you were wondering how the things came out. So I really appreciate it. So some myths that keep Christians from seeking counseling that they need. A lot of times I think that we feel that counseling and the Bible just don't go together, and that is totally wrong. The first thing that we usually say is, if the Lord is my strength, then I don't need anything else. Does that mean that I am weak when I need mental health counseling or Christian counseling in general? Absolutely not. God does make us strong, but we are still weak. And He says that when we are weak, He makes us stronger. He makes Himself strong in our weakness, if that makes any sense. And so when we are weak, when we can't do it ourselves, that is when we become stronger, when we depend on Him. We are sinners, and our weakness comes from sin. And so we are imperfect, we are inconsistent, and not nearly as strong as we really think we are. And so that's true where the Bible says that in our weaknesses He becomes strong. And it's kind of like I always say, I'm not perfect, but through Him I am perfect. And so even though I feel that I am strong, truly I am not strong without Jesus Christ. And that is the first myth that we need to get out the door, is that if we are strong and we rely on God, then if we ask for counseling or we seek counseling, does that mean that we are weak? Absolutely not. It makes you actually stronger, and it takes a stronger person to realize their shortcomings, to realize their problems, and seek out help. Just like we have doctors and we have nurses, we also have social workers, we have mental health counselors, we have psychiatrists. And so I think God really put those people in the world to help us when we feel that there's nowhere else for us to go, where we do pray, but maybe He's guiding us towards that way. He's giving us a lifeboat or like a life preserver for us to try to go to those people. I definitely 100% feel like Christian counseling is the way to go. A lot of people have gone to secular counselors and it's worked out for them, and that's great. But a lot of times they don't have the same beliefs that we do. And I think, personally speaking, being a Christian counselor, it just adds so much more to the counseling session. You have something that is consistent that you can rely on, a power that is not your own, but it comes from above. And so a lot of people seek that. So definitely my number one recommendation is, if you need to have some mental health counseling, I would definitely try recommending, first of all, Christian counseling. If not, if you need to go to an outside counselor or a secular counselor, I would definitely recommend you just right off the bat saying, I am Christian, and kind of letting them know a little bit about yourself, which is definitely going to be done during the first session, but just letting them know kind of like sort of what you're looking for them to do in your counseling session, because that's what the counselor is there for. They're not there to just try to fix your problems, because they're never going to fix our problems, but it's just kind of you having that guide to help you kind of work through those obstacles that you're going through. Another myth that a lot of Christians say before they go to counseling is, I need to have it all together. Reality check, nobody has it all together. Even the celebrities, the famous people on TV seem like they have it all together, but they absolutely do not. Now, I want you to know that I completely understand that you don't want everybody to know your struggles, and that doesn't mean that you need to go around the town or around the church or to your family telling them about all your issues. If you do have somebody that you really do trust and you feel like is non-biased and you feel like comfortable with them, definitely go for that. But I totally understand and I get it that you don't feel comfortable telling people your problems, right? Who does? Nobody wants to air out their dirty laundry, right? But it is still powerful for us to try to talk to somebody that is outside of the situation, outside of our family, outside of our friendship circle, just to have that straight, blank, that new perspective on things. And you will definitely be surprised at the freedom, at the liberty that you feel when you tell somebody your story. Nobody else is judging you. Nobody is there to point fingers at you. We're just trying to fix this, trying to figure out what the issue is so that you can move on with your life. Another myth is that some people think that if I just prayed harder, listen, I am all about prayer. I am all about fasting. As you know, in my journey through my health, I definitely was fasting and I did the raw diet and I was praying every day. But does that mean that we need to totally take counseling out of the way? Absolutely not. That can just be like an asset to the resources that we already have. Okay, like I said, as long as they are with our values and our morals and our beliefs and they're not like asking us to do something totally different or that you're not comfortable with, counseling, mental health is a definite asset to our toolbox, and that's something that we can really, really value. It is the worst thing for somebody to pray about it and then feel guilty because they felt that the problem wasn't fixed because they didn't pray enough or they didn't fast enough. Guys, everybody's in their own journey. There is no right or wrong way. Like I said before, you can do everything you can through prayer. And for some people, they have that faith and they have that strength in prayer where that's all they need. But there are others that do need help. They do need to go to that counselor to bounce ideas off of that external person. And that is okay. There is no shame, no guilt, no judging in that. As I had mentioned before, many of us can go to our friends, to our family, maybe a small group to talk about our issues and our problems, but that doesn't really work for all of us. Some people don't want everybody in their family to know their business. Others just want to keep it private. And so we also don't want to have a burden. We don't want to make it a burden for our family to deal with our problems, to deal with our struggles, because let's face it, everybody has their own struggles. Everybody has their issues. Everybody has their little chaos in their own family, in their own world. But not saying that a counselor doesn't, believe me. We do. If you're a counselor, you would know that we definitely have our own issues, but that is their job. That's what they're there for. And so if you're a counselor, you know that you have those clear boundaries. And so instead of you bombarding your family with all these problems and this stress, and then maybe worrying about one day they're just going to explode or they're going to tire out or you're stressing them out or the information gets out to your other family, that's where you can go to a counselor, lay your heart out, tell them everything, and it's just a sense of relief. Nobody is hurt, nobody is judging, nobody feels stressed because they have to keep your secrets or anything like that. But a counselor just is kind of that relief, and that relief also from tension between you and your family members. Another myth that some people think is that counseling is only for serious or real problems, right? Absolutely not, guys. They could be, just like we can pray for the little tiny things and God still answers us, counselors are there for everything. They could be there for even truancy issues, not going to school, you're having problems with your child, you're having problems with your marriage, you're having problems with your parenting style, you're having problems making decisions, financial, group decisions, of course an addiction, self-esteem, depression, all those that are normal, but also just the little things, just somebody who has issues with anxiety, or somebody who has issues with their self-worth, somebody who has issues with just all these ideas, somebody who feels that maybe they're having some OCD, somebody who feels that they are worried about everything and they can't get anything done, somebody who is a procrastinator. I mean, they're financial, I'm not sure if I said financial, but if I didn't, financial counseling as well. I mean, there is all kinds of counseling. There is nothing too big, nothing too small that a counselor cannot handle. And I know it's really hard, to kind of believe that and to accept that, but like I said before, this is their job. That's what they're there for. And just like we go to God for little things and big things, you can also go to a counselor, but of course, keep it in prayer and put God first. Remember, mental health counseling is just an asset on top of what you should already be doing in your walk with Christ. I mean, let's think about it. We don't want to wait until the problem is so super big that sometimes law enforcement needs to be called or anything like that. We want to try to handle the problem when it's small enough where we can kind of take care of it instead of just allowing it to get big and blowing up. And then what do we do? So definitely go to a counselor if you feel that you need it. A lot of employers have EAP programs, which are employee assistance programs. And also you can Google community counseling. I believe there's a national number, 211, that you can just ask for any types of resources, whether you're having issues paying your light, your water, you're having issues with homelessness, you're having issues with depression, with anxiety, with domestic violence, anything. If you call 211, I believe it is a national number, that is a resource hotline that can help you with any type of issue that you're having. And then the last myth that I believe we need to talk about is there is nothing that I can do to change my past. So many people say this, and yes, that is true. We cannot change our past, but we can change our current situation and we can change our future. And so going to a counselor may have you look at things that you're doing and how you can do them differently and how they can definitely affect your future. So I would definitely recommend you going to mental health. The Bible talks about so many counselors. If you don't feel comfortable going to an outside, talk to your pastor, talk to an elder or a deacon that you really trust at your church. But I really recommend for you to go to somebody to seek help. And you're not in this alone. Pray about it. I'm going to be praying for you guys. Your family's going to be praying for you. Your pastor, your church family. Do not isolate. That is what Satan wants. He wants us to isolate, and do not isolate. Seek help whenever you need it. There is nothing too big and nothing too small. I hope you guys liked my video today. If you have any other comments, please make sure you post them below. Follow me on Instagram at A Quiet Praise, and hit the like button, please, if you can. I will be posting videos weekly. Till the next time, guys.